All right, so this video is to go over some questions on each part of the yellow packet. So this first video is going to go over the first 2 pages on solving one-step and two-step equations. And then the next video will go over the last 2 pages. So this is just to review all the equations that we've learned in class so far. I'm just going to pick some random problems for us to go over together, and then hopefully that will help for you to complete the rest of the page on your own. So I'm going to start by looking at this problem here. So remember, anytime we start solving an equation, we're going to draw our fence, circle our variable. So my goal is to get that x by itself. So I have negative x or negative 1 times x, right? Remember, if there's not a number in front of x, we can write it as negative 1, or we can write a 1 in front, so that would make that negative 1x equals 32. So now, because the number and the letter are right next to each other, that means that they're being multiplied together. So to get rid of multiplication, I'm going to divide both sides by negative 1. So negative 1 divided by negative 1 would give me positive 1x on this side, which is what we want, 1x by itself. And then 32 divided by negative 1 would give me negative 32 as my answer. So then, like we've done in these before, there's negative 32. So then I would draw this box to match what the box of this problem looked like. And I'm just roughly drawing. Hopefully you make yours look a little prettier than mine, but it looks something like this. All right, so let's look at another one together. So if we go down a little farther, we'll look at this one here. X divided by 4 equals negative 3. So again, we're going to draw our fence, circle our variable. So to get rid of a divided by 4, right, we divided to get rid of multiplication, so we're going to do the opposite. To get rid of division, we'll multiply both sides by 4. So then I have 4x divided by 4. So our 4's cancel out to 1. So that gives me 1x. Right? 4 divided by 4 gives me 1. So I have 1x on this side. And then negative 3 times 4 gives me negative 12. Remember, what you do to one side of the equation, or one side of the fence, you have to do to the other side of the fence. So because I multiplied by 4, I had to multiply by 4 on this side to get negative 12. So this box looks something like this. All right, if we look at the one right underneath that, I'm going to start by drawing my fence, circling my variable. So fractions were a little bit different. When I'm multiplying by a fraction, to get rid of the fraction, I'm actually going to multiply by its reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply by the fraction flipped over. So that will be 3 over 2. And the reason that I do that is I flip the fraction over is because now if I multiplied this together, 3 times 2 would give me 6. 2 times 3 would give me 6. So I really have 6 over 6, which is the same thing as 1x. And then I can multiply the fraction on the other side. So we multiply by the fraction flipped over so that we end up with something over the same thing, right? 6 over 6, which would just give me 1x. So now if I want to multiply this fraction, remember, we can take any whole number and put a 1 underneath to make it a fraction. And then when we multiply fractions, never a problem, top times top, bottom times bottom. So 4 times 3 would give me 12. 1 times 2 would give me 2. So then 12 divided by 2 would give me 6. So my answer here was 6. So that looks like this. All right, let's do a couple more together. So if I come over here to this problem, so I have negative 17 equals negative 9 plus x. So I'm going to draw my fence, circle my variable. So while there is a plus sign right here, my goal is to cancel out this negative 9, to get rid of it. So I'm going to need a positive 9 on both sides for that to cancel. So a negative 9 and a positive 9 cancel, leaving me positive 1x. And then negative 17 plus 9, they're different signs, so I have to subtract. 17 minus 9 would give me 8, and then I keep the sign of the bigger number. So I end up with negative 8 here, which is right there. So to match, we did something like this. So then if we do one more together, let's do this one over here. So if I draw my fence and I circle my variable, again, it doesn't matter what side we're getting x by itself. Normally it's on, x is on this side, but whatever side it's on, that's what side we want to get it by itself. So I just want to get rid of this positive 12. So I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. So a positive 12 and a negative 12 cancel out to 0. So I just have x on this side. And then 8 minus 12. 8 minus 12 is the same thing as 8 plus negative 12. So then they're different signs, so I have to subtract. 12 minus 8 would give me 4, and then I keep the sign of the bigger number. So my answer would be negative 4. So I would sketch this like that. So hopefully those examples helped for our one-step equations. And if you want, we'll flip over to the back and work on some two-step equations together. So looking at these problems here, we're going to go over a couple two-step equations. So remember, when we're solving two-step equations, it's no different in our rules than our one-step equations. We're just going to have to do two separate things. So we're always going to move our addition and subtraction pieces first, then move any multiplication or division. So for instance, if we look at this first problem here, the letter S, we'll draw our fence, circle the variable we're trying to get rid of, or trying to get by itself. So then I have a divided by 4 and a plus 9. So we're going to get rid of our addition and subtraction first, meaning to get rid of this plus 9, I'm going to subtract both sides by 9. So my positive 9 and my negative 9 cancel. That leaves x divided by 4 on this side, and then 13 minus 9 would give me 4 on this side. So now I have one more step to do because I need to get rid of my divided by 4. My goal is still to get this x by itself. So to get rid of a divided by 4, I'm going to multiply both sides by 4. So then 4 divided by 4 cancels to give me 1x on that side, and then 4 times 4 would give me 16. So at the bottom, anywhere I see a 16, I'm going to put that letter S. So it looks like there's a 16 here. All right, so now if I try another one, let's go to the letter L. So again, I'm going to draw my fence and circle my variable. So I have 11 minus 2x. So again, I want to get rid of the addition and subtraction piece, the number by itself first. So to get rid of a positive 11, right, this is a minus sign, but this 11 is actually of positive value. There's no sign in front of it, making it a positive 11. So I would need to subtract 11 from both sides. So once I do that, my positive 11 and my negative 11 cancel. That leaves me, this minus is still here, that leaves me a negative 2x on this side. And then on the other side, a negative 39 minus 11. They're both negative, so I add them together, and I'm going to get negative 50. So I'm still trying to get this x by itself, but I have negative 2 times x. So to get rid of multiplication, I'm going to divide both sides by negative 2. My negative 2 and my negative 2 over here, negative 2 divided by negative 2 would give me positive 1x. And then negative 50 divided by negative 2 is 25. So I get x is 25. So anywhere I see a 25 down here, I'm going to write the letter L. All right, if I keep going, let's do one more together. Trying to find a good one. Let's do I together. Actually, let's do Y. That's a better one. So I start by drawing my fence and circling my variable. So remember, I want to get rid of any addition and subtraction first, then multiplication and division. So I want to get rid of my minus 12. I want to move the minus 12 to the other side. So to do that, I'm going to add 12 to both sides. That negative 12 and plus 12 cancel, leaving me with x over negative 3. And then negative 15 plus 12 would leave me with negative 3 on this side. So now I still have x I'm trying to get by itself. Divided by negative 3 equals negative 3. So to get rid of divided by negative 3, I have to multiply by negative 3. Remember, when you multiply and divide, the sign stays the same. So when I am dividing or multiplying by something, if it's positive, it stays positive. If it's negative, it stays negative. So because I'm dividing by a -3, I want to multiply by a -3. Because the goal is that these two divide to give you +1. -3 divided by -3 would give us a +1 here. And then -3 times -3 gives us a +9, because a negative divided by a negative is positive. So anywhere I see a 9, I'm putting the letter Y. And then I'll just keep going from there. So hopefully that was enough help that you can finish the rest of both of those pages. And then if you have any other questions, go ahead and check out the next video.